Good morning, YouTube. Well, it finally happened. The Superleggera is sold.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, this is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience. And if you didn't know, we opened up a dealership, so now we're buying and selling supercars, and well, sadly the Superleggera is sold as of today. So we had an interesting time trying to sell this car. It's a little bit tougher market to sell because it's kind of a rare car and it's very specific of who wants to buy these cars. And I get it, it has a pretty substantial premium over a regular Gallardo, probably about a $40,000 to $50,000 price increase just because it's a Superleggera, which is almost 50%. But at the same time, in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. It is an amazing car, and I'm gonna miss it. So let's talk about that. But before we do, real quick, if you want to support us, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Go visit normalguysupercar.com. There you can buy parts and services for your car. And also go check out NG Supercars. That's our dealership website. And well, we don't really have anything in inventory right now, but we're gonna be getting stuff, so stay tuned for that. Also, actually, if you watch the channel, pretty much every car we buy is gonna be on the channel at some point. So as you see the videos come out, might be something you want, hit us up, sales@ngsupercars.com. So let's talk about the Super G. So let me tell you, buying and selling cars is a fascinating new experience for me. I obviously have not done this a whole lot in my life. This is totally new for me. Basically, the Superleggera has been an interesting thing to sell because, well, I think we priced it pretty fairly. We priced it a little bit high, but at the same time, we knew that it's a very thin market, so there's just not a whole lot of comparables. So in the time that this car was for sale, we saw 2 or 3 others sell, and you know, they were all kind of in a similar price point. Some were a little bit lower, some were a little bit higher, depending on the miles and all that sort of stuff. A lot of them still needed work, and we felt like, well, ours was 100% sorted. So this thing has a brand new clutch. We did the oil change, we put in the $10,000 exhaust from Klein. It sounds incredible. And we did some other stuff just to kind of clean it up and get it good. So we didn't really want to move too much in the price, and part of it's also, we didn't really want to lose any money on it. So admittedly, you know, doing those modifications did increase our cost in the car probably more than normal. Like, you know, normally we wouldn't really want to do modifications to a car because you don't get your money back on the modifications. So putting in the exhaust is kind of a bit of a gamble, but we thought, you know what, for YouTube content and because it's awesome, we wanted to do it. And it is awesome. It is truly an amazing sounding exhaust. And it shoots out fireballs and all that stuff. So it's just, yeah, this is the exhaust you want on this car. It is epic. Oh my God, it looks good. By the way, if you happen to want a Klein exhaust, go check out normalguysupercar.com or email us. We can get you hooked up with a Klein. They're amazing. One of my favorite exhausts out there. So we've had a lot of tire kickers, and then we had a couple people get actually pretty serious about buying it, and you know, they would kind of waffle and you know, and pretty consistently we had people offering in the low 150s, but we really wanted to get 160 or higher. We felt like that was the right number for this car. We felt like that was a fair price for this car. But then 2 days ago, we got an email from a guy who seemed very serious, and we scheduled a phone call and had a lengthy discussion about the car. And he was very serious about the car, and he was haggling pretty hard, you know, and unfortunately we just really didn't want to move much on the price. You know, we came down a bit, we tried to meet him, and we got down a little bit further, and it got to the point where we were losing money on the car. So I was not super excited about that deal. You know, obviously we don't want to be in the business of losing money on cars. In fact, we can't be in the business of losing money on cars because we won't be in business very long. So we thought, you know, we'll sit on that one for a little bit and see what happens. So as luck would turn out, our friend Steven was in town, and I said, hey, you want to try driving the Superleggera? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, be careful driving it. You're going to want to buy it. Well, he took it out for a drive, and he didn't tell me, but then the next morning he's like, hey, I think I want to buy the Superleggera. And he's like, here's my plan, let me know if you think this would work. We structured a deal that's actually really fascinating. So he basically said, hey, I've got enough cash to put a very substantial amount down on the car, but I don't really want to finance the rest. What about if I traded in my BMW 1M on it? And we're not opposed to trade-ins that are interesting cars, and that is a very interesting car. There's one problem with that car, which is I have no idea what that car is worth. I just don't know BMWs well enough. I was like, it's an awesome car, but it's really hard to put a value on it because almost none of them are for sale. In fact, we checked Auto Trader, we checked all over the internet, and we could only find like 5 for sale in the United States. Super rare car, and All the prices were all over the board. It just was super complicated to figure out what is the real value of this car. And it had 75,000 miles, which made it even more complicated because most of the cars had about 30,000 miles. There was a little bit of consistency in pricing when they're at that price point, but who knows? So I basically said, hey, let's try the power of the internet and the power of social media. I took and posted a picture of his car and I said, hey, how much would you be willing to pay for a BMW 1M on my Instagram and on my Facebook? And literally 15 minutes later, we had a message from someone saying, I'll buy the car. Here's how much I'll pay. And I said, holy cow, that was fast. And I did not expect that. I just thought, hey, if we can get a value in the car, then we can assess whether or not we can do the trade-in. So the initial offer was not enough to make it so that we could sell this car and get our 160. So we basically said, hey, if you can buy the 1M at this price point, it makes up the difference that we can make a little bit of money on this car, basically make a little bit of money on the 1M and come out with a net gain, hook up a friend, and, well, get rid of that car and get rid of the BMW all in one stroke. And they came around. So and funny enough, Art is buying the BMW 1M. So Steven is buying the Superleggera, trading in his BMW 1M to us, and then we're selling the 1M to Art. It was pretty funny because all of this happened in the course of about a half an hour. And it was a flurry of phone calls. I was actually trying to film the video talking about our 430 being sold. My phone was just exploding. Got it through us. Got the 10% off using NGS 10. Okay, sorry. That phone call was actually bunch of car deal stuff going on. We have some weird car deal stuff going on. We may have possibly sold the Gallardo. Who knows? I don't know. This whole thing is just crazy. Today's been kind of a crazy day. I had a lot to do, so I couldn't stop filming. I needed to get that in for the day. As fortune had it, the deal seems to have solidified, and so that's what's happening. We've effectively sold this car for a value of $160,000 based on the trade-in value and based on the fact that we're selling the trade-in. So again, this car is sold. We have the deal. The BMW 1M is being traded in and sold. So that's also being sold. So that means we have 2 more car sales, which means yesterday we sold 3 cars, which is awesome. That's amazing for us. We're super excited. We couldn't be happier about that. And of course that means we have some more money to buy more cars. So let us know, what kind of cars are you guys interested in? We are definitely wanting to do sports cars, supercars, pretty much mostly supercars, obviously Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, Porsches, maybe something cool like a BMW if it was the right car with the right amount of, value that we could make money on it. But again, I don't know anything about those cars, so I can't really put values on them. So, those are gonna be tough. I even kind of am thinking maybe a Viper. I don't know. That would be kind of cool. They're amazing cars. I don't know. Anyway, put in the comments below what kind of cars do you want to see us get and sell through the dealership. And of course, cars that need some work, we are very interested in those too because we'd like to buy them, fix them up, and then sell them. Obviously nothing that's super crazy. No salvage, please. Don't send us salvage cars. We know people are like, oh, buy this wrecked 488. It's only 200 grand or whatever. We're like, no, not interested in that. We don't want to do salvage cars, so no, not interested in that. But we'll take cars that just need maintenance or maybe have been neglected or sitting around or whatever, stuff that we think we can handle. We have a limited set of skills. I'm not going to be able to do body work. I don't have that capability. So any body work is a little bit challenging for us because we have to outsource that. So it costs us a pretty good amount of money. Little things we can take care of though. But there you go. That's kind of an update. So finally, the Superleggera is sold. People have been wondering, why isn't it sold yet? Well, there you go. It's just a little bit trickier car to sell. The 430 you saw, we sold in 7 days. I mean, that was an easy car to sell, which makes us think, man, we should do another 430. Apparently the demand for a 430 that is cheap is off the charts. So if we can find another 430 that's a reasonably priced car, we're certainly interested. If you guys happen to have a car that you're selling, feel free to email us, sales@ngsupercars.com. Send us the VIN, send us some pictures, the mileage, and all sorts of stuff, and tell us what you want for it. Please actually tell us what you want for it, and be realistic. Know that we have to make money on the car. So if you're telling us the retail price, we're not going to be interested in it. We can't make any money. It's too much risk. So there has to be some sort of margin in there. And keep in mind, we want to buy cars outright. We're not doing consignments. We just want to buy it. It's super easy for you. We just send you a wire, you give us the title, life moves on. Really easy. Anyway, there you go. As Josh likes to say, you're paying for convenience. Basically, we are helping make your life easier for a fee. We're taking care of something that you want to get rid of and then making it so that you don't have to deal with it. Because trust me, dealing with all this stuff, it's time consuming. We have to answer a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of stuff to try and get one car to sell. So, and of course, when you're talking about cars at this price point, it's a longer sales cycle. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of making sure that everything's right, that the money's right, that the person's comfortable, that everything's happy. Because ultimately, we don't want to sell cars that people aren't happy with. We want to make sure that the cars are good, that the expectations are correct, and that everyone's going to come out in a win. Because if we don't do that, we're going to get a bad reputation, and people are going to hate us, and no one's going to buy our cars. So we got to keep that up. We want to really make sure we continue that kind of tradition of selling really decent cars, or at least making sure that people know what they're getting so that they're not surprised. And that's our goal. So we appreciate it when you guys do support us. Again, it really helps us out. So like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Go visit ngsupercars.com. There you can check out our inventory. And of course, go visit normalguysupercar.com and see if there's any parts or services that we can get you set up with. Use the code NGS10. Hooks you up with 10% off almost everything we sell. So thank you so much. We're going to be doing a lot of cool car stuff. So you're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.